Namaste, my beloved friends. There are some people who remain hidden even when life gives them a stage. There are some people who have talent but they do not come forward. There are some people who wait for permission from the world before expressing themselves. And then there is Leo, Simha Rashi, the sign of the lion, the sign of the sun, the sign of the heart, the sign of royalty, visibility, courage, self-worth, performance, authority, and magnificent expression. Whenever the sign of Leo comes to my mind, one word comes immediately before me: performance. Leo is a sign that loves to perform. Leo wants to express. Leo wants to shine. Leo wants to be seen, heard, respected, appreciated, and remembered. This does not always mean that every Leo native wants to become an actor or a performer in the literal sense. Performance here means the ability to stand before life with presence, the ability to carry oneself with dignity, the ability to express one's inner fire before the world. Leo is often understood only as a sign of ego, pride, dominance, royalty, and attention seeking. But this is only half the truth. Yes, Leo wants respect. Yes, Leo wants recognition. Yes, Leo can become dominating. Yes, Leo can become over ambitious. Yes, Leo can become hurt when ignored. But to understand Leo only through ego is a very shallow understanding of this powerful zodiac sign. Leo is not merely ego. Leo is the heart of the zodiac. And the heart is very important. You are born with the heart. You are not born with the mind in the same way. The mind is slowly given to you by the society. Society shapes your thoughts, your beliefs, your fears, your comparisons, your ambitions, your ideas of success and failure. But the heart is natural. The heart is original. The heart is your inner sun. And this is why all the divine masters say that God dwells in the heart. Because heart is the source of love. God is love and love is real. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun is the source of light. The sun does not borrow light from anyone. The sun shines by its own nature. The sun gives warmth, life, vitality, confidence, growth, authority, and direction. Without the sun, life cannot exist. And in the same way, Leo carries a natural life-giving quality. Leo brings warmth. Leo brings enthusiasm. Leo brings confidence. Leo brings joy. Leo brings drama. Leo brings celebration. Leo brings that royal fire which makes life feel grand. No matter how difficult the horoscope may be, if your moon sign, sun sign, or ascendant is Leo, then there is always a strong possibility of rising in life. Growth comes naturally to Leo. And when I say growth, I do not mean only the growth of your bank account. I do not mean only money, power, fame, or position. I mean inner growth as well. Leo grows because Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun's nature is to rise. Every morning the sun rises. Every day the sun brings light. Every day the sun reminds us that darkness is never final. This is the beauty of Leo. Leo may go through struggle, insult, downfall, heartbreak, betrayal, or delay, but something within Leo wants to rise again. Something within Leo does not want to remain small. Something within Leo says, I am meant for something more. And this inner voice is not always ego. Sometimes it is the call of the soul. Sometimes it is the sun within reminding Leo that it has not come to live an ordinary, dull, hidden life. Leo is a sign of self-worth. Leo must learn its own value, but there is a difference between self-worth and ego. Ego says, I am better than others. Self-worth says, I know my value. Ego demands respect. Self-worth naturally commands respect. Ego wants constant praise. Self-worth remains steady even when praise is not available. Ego performs to be admired. Self-worth expresses because expression itself is joy. This is where Leo must evolve. Leo must move from ego to self-worth, from attention seeking to authentic expression, from domination to leadership, from pride to dignity, from performance for applause to performance as offering. When Leo is unevolved, it wants the world to constantly clap. When Leo is evolved, its very presence becomes a blessing. The unevolved Leo says, look at me. The evolved Leo says, let my light serve you. Leo is full of life because the sun rules Leo. Leo does not like deadness. Leo does not like dullness. Leo does not enjoy remaining invisible for too long. Leo wants color, celebration, power, recognition, drama, creativity, romance, expression, and impact. And in a dull world, this is not a small gift. Many people exist, but they do not radiate. Many people survive, but they do not shine. Leo reminds humanity that life is not merely about survival. Life is also about radiance. But Leo must also remember one very important thing. A beautiful hearted lion can get lost in the jungle. If there is no awareness, Leo has a royal heart, but Leo must know when to pause, when to stop, and when to start. This is very important. If Leo keeps pushing without pause, ambition becomes restlessness. If Leo keeps commanding without listening, leadership becomes domination. If Leo keeps performing without inner silence, life becomes exhausting. If Leo keeps seeking appreciation from others, the heart becomes dependent on applause. Leo natives are actually heartful people. They may look strong, proud, confident, and royal from the outside, but deep within, they are often very sensitive to respect, love, appreciation, loyalty, and emotional warmth. A Leo may not always show hurt easily, but disrespect can deeply wound them. Ignoring them can hurt them. Taking them for granted can hurt them. Betrayal can hurt them because Leo's heart is large and a large heart also feels deeply. This is why Leo natives must protect their heart with wisdom, not with arrogance, not with anger, not with domination, not with false pride, but with wisdom. Leo must learn that not everybody who praises you loves you. Not everybody who respects you is sincere. Not everybody who claps for you is your well-wisher. Not everybody who boosts your ego is standing with your soul. This is one of the biggest weaknesses of Leo natives. They can be fooled very easily through appreciation. You simply appreciate them and they become soft. You give them utmost respect, praise them, say beautiful things about them, boost their ego, and they may open the doors of their heart. And this is exactly how many fox-like people take advantage of Leo natives. They falsely admire them. They falsely boost their ego. They falsely say good things about them. They touch the weak nerve of Leo and then slowly they take advantage. This is how many Leo natives get used, manipulated, emotionally trapped, financially exploited, or misled. Not because they are foolish, but because they love respect. They love appreciation. They love loyalty. They love feeling valued. And when someone gives them this feeling, Leo may believe that person is genuine. But Leo must remember, real respect does not manipulate. Real admiration does not use you. Real love does not flatter only to receive benefits. Real loyalty remains even when there is no performance, no spotlight, no advantage, no gain. Therefore, Leo natives must develop discrimination. Enjoy appreciation but do not become addicted to it. Accept respect but do not become blind because of it. Receive praise but verify the intention behind it. A lion should not be parceled into someone's pocket merely through sweet words. A lion must remain awake because royal energy must be protected from cunning people. Now let us understand the deeper nakshatra cycle of Leo. The first cycle of the zodiac begins with Ketu's Ashwini in Aries and ends with Mercury's Ashlesha in Cancer. This first cycle from Ketu to Mercury represents an important stage of evolution. It begins with the spiritual impulse of Ketu in Ashwini and moves through the early development of life, emotion, mind, and inner experience until Mercury's Ashlesha in Cancer, where the psychological and emotional intelligence becomes deep and complex. Then begins the second cycle, from Ketu's Magha in Leo to Mercury's Jyeshta in Scorpio. This second cycle begins again with Ketu, but now the field is different. The first Ketu cycle begins in Aries with raw action, innocence, speed, and the first spark of life. The second Ketu cycle begins in Leo with royalty, self-worth, ancestral power, intelligence, performance, authority, and the journey of discovering one's true place in the world. Within Leo itself, the second cycle begins with Magha, moves into Purva Phalguni, and reaches the Leo portion of Uttara Phalguni. This Leo journey is very significant. It is focused on realizing self-worth through intelligence, rising to heights of success through artistic performance, and eventually attaining power and authority. First comes divine intelligence through Ketu's Magha. Then comes royal magnificent art through Venus Purva Phalguni. And eventually comes authority and power through the sun's Uttara Phalguni. Within Leo itself, there are three very different nakshatra energies. Magha gives royal intelligence, ancestral power, dignity, and the throne. Purva Phalguni gives artistic performance, beauty, pleasure, charisma, romance, and creative magnetism. Uttara Phalguni gives authority, responsibility, leadership, commitment, and the power to sustain success. Together, these three nakshatras reveal the complete evolution of Leo. Let us begin with Magha nakshatra. Magha is ruled by Ketu, and this is very significant. Just as the zodiac begins with Ketu's Ashwini in Aries, the second major cycle begins with Ketu's Magha in Leo. But Ashwini Ketu and Magha Ketu are very different. Ashwini Ketu is fast, innocent, wild, healing, and spiritually unpredictable. Magha Ketu is royal, ancestral, dignified, intelligent, and deeply connected with legacy. Magha means magnificent. Magha carries the energy of royalty, ancestors, lineage, power, throne, status, and inherited spiritual dignity. These natives may naturally feel that they are not meant to live an ordinary life. There may be a deeper inner sense of importance. They may feel drawn toward positions of respect. They may take care about family name, reputation, legacy, tradition, and honor. Even if they are born in simple circumstances, something within them carries a royal memory. The deity of Magha is the Pitris, the ancestors. This means Magha is deeply connected with ancestral blessings, ancestral karma, and the invisible seat of power that comes through lineage. A Magha native is not standing alone. Behind them, there is often a chain of past karmas, ancestral forces, family expectations, and invisible blessings. Sometimes Magha gives great rise through ancestral merit. Sometimes it brings pressure through ancestral burden. But in both cases, Magha asks the native to understand the meaning of dignity. Magha is ruled by Ketu, so its deeper purpose is not merely outer royalty. Ketu always brings a spiritual lesson. In Magha, Ketu says, sit on the throne but do not become attached to the throne. Receive respect but do not become intoxicated by respect. Honor your lineage but do not become a prisoner of pride. Understand your self-worth but do not allow ego to destroy your heart. Magha gives intelligence, not merely academic intelligence, but a royal intelligence the intelligence to understand status, power, respect, hierarchy, tradition, and one's place in the world. A strong Magha native can understand how to carry themselves. They may naturally know how to command respect. They may have a certain presence, a certain dignity, a certain natural authority. People may notice them even when they are silent. But the shadow of Magha is pride. The shadow is entitlement. The shadow is thinking, I deserve respect, but I need not give respect. The shadow is living in the past. The shadow is becoming too attached to family name, position, status, or ego. The shadow is demanding a throne without becoming worthy of the throne. The evolved Magha native becomes dignified, wise, spiritually royal, respectful, ancestral, and capable of guiding others with maturity. The unevolved Magha becomes arrogant, egoistic, status conscious, and trapped in old pride. And so Magha teaches Leo its first lesson. Know your worth, but remain humble before the divine. After Magha comes Purva Phalguni, and here the energy of Leo becomes beautifully artistic, magnetic, joyful, romantic, and performance oriented. Purva Phalguni is ruled by Venus. If Magha is the throne, Purva Phalguni is the royal celebration. If Magha is dignity, Purva Phalguni is beauty. If Magha is self-worth, Purva Phalguni is artistic expression. If Magha is the king's seat, Purva Phalguni is the music, dance, color, pleasure, and magnificence of the royal court. This is one of the most creative and expressive portions of Leo. Purva Phalguni natives often have a natural ability to perform, attract, entertain, beautify, charm, and enjoy life. They may be connected with music, acting, dance, literature, poetry, fashion, luxury, romance, celebration, creativity, media, public presence, and artistic expression. This nakshatra can give a strong desire to be appreciated for one's talent. Purva Phalguni knows how to create impact. It carries the Venusian power of attraction. But in the fiery kingdom of Leo, it carries the Venusian power of attraction, but in the fiery kingdom of Leo. So this is not shy beauty. This is royal beauty. This is not hidden art. This is art that wants a stage. This is not silent romance. This is romance with warmth, drama, expression, and joy. Purva Phalguni wants to experience life as a celebration. And this is where performance becomes a central theme of Leo. Leo does not merely perform to show off. At its best, Leo performs because the heart is overflowing. When the heart is full, it sings. When the heart is full, it dances. When the heart is full, it expresses. When the heart is full, it shares. This is the higher Purva Phalguni. Art that comes from the heart. But every blessing has a shadow. The shadow of Purva Phalguni is overintelligence, laziness, vanity, pleasure seeking, emotional drama, and dependence on admiration. These natives may become too attached to applause, romance, comfort, luxury, or personal image. They may want life to constantly appreciate them. They may feel hurt when their performance is not noticed. They may become too concerned with how they are seen by others. Therefore, Purva Phalguni must learn that true art is not only performance. True art is offering. True beauty is not only attraction. True beauty is grace. True romance is not only pleasure. True romance is devotion. True creativity is not only entertainment. True creativity is the expression of the divine through the heart. The evolved Purva Phalguni becomes artistic, warm, generous, loving, magnetic, joyful, and creatively successful. The unevolved Purva Phalguni becomes dramatic, indulgent, vain, and dependent on praise. And so Purva Phalguni teaches Leo its second lesson. Perform beautifully, but do not become addicted to applause. After Purva Phalguni comes Uttara Phalguni, and only the first pada of Uttara Phalguni falls in Leo sign. This is the final part of Leo, and here the energy becomes more serious, authoritative, responsible, and powerful. Uttara Phalguni is ruled by the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun. So here solar power becomes very strong. The sign is ruled by the sun and the nakshatra is also ruled by the sun. This gives authority, leadership, recognition, responsibility, and the ability to hold power. If Magha gives the throne and Purva Phalguni gives the royal performance, Uttara Phalguni gives the authority to rule. This is where Leo moves from artistic expression to responsibility. It is no longer only about being seen, it is about becoming worthy of being followed. It is no longer only about performance, it is about leadership. It is no longer about self-worth, it is about using one's worth for a larger purpose. Uttara Phalguni natives can do well in leadership roles, administration, management, government, executive positions, public life, independent work, advisory roles, authority positions, and any field where responsibility and recognition come together. They often have the ability to stand with confidence and take charge. They may naturally command respect when evolved. But because both Leo and this nakshatra carry strong sun energy, the shadow can also become intense. The native may become too proud, too rigid, too dominating, too authoritative, or too convinced that only they know what is right. They may struggle to listen. They may expect loyalty but forget to offer sensitivity. They may demand respect but forget that respect must also be earned through conduct. Therefore, Uttara Phalguni must learn the difference between authority and domination. Authority comes from inner strength. Domination comes from insecurity. Authority protects, domination controls. Authority guides, domination suppresses. Authority serves dharma, domination serves ego. The evolved Uttara Phalguni becomes noble, responsible, powerful, generous, protective, and capable of holding real authority. The unevolved Uttara Phalguni native becomes controlling, proud, rigid, and overly ambitious. And so Uttara Phalguni teaches Leo its third lesson. Power must become responsibility. Now observe these three nakshatras together. Magha says, know your royal worth. Purva Phalguni says, express your magnificent art. Uttara Phalguni says, hold authority with responsibility. Magha gives divine intelligence through Ketu. Purva Phalguni gives royal magnificent art through Venus. Uttara Phalguni gives power and authority through the sun. Together they form the complete journey of Leo. First, Leo realizes self-worth. Then, Leo expresses through performance, that is Purva Phalguni. Then, Leo attains power and authority, that is Uttara Phalguni. First, there is intelligence, which comes through Ketu. Then there is art, which comes through Purva Phalguni, that is Venus. Then there is leadership, which comes through Uttara Phalguni, ruled by Sun. First there is the throne, then there is the stage, and then there is the responsibility of rulership. This is the real evolution of Leo sign. From ego to self-worth, from performance to offering, from ambition to purpose, from dominance to leadership, from applause to authenticity, from royal pride to divine love, and from the outer throne to the inner heart. And before I conclude, let me share a beautiful story that reveals the difference between false pride and true royalty. Always remember, the person who is not humble is not yet certain about himself. There is a very famous Eastern story. A blind man is sitting under a tree. A king comes, he touches the feet of the blind man and says, "Sir, where is the way to the capital?" Then the prime minister of the king comes, and without touching his feet, he says, "Mister, where is the way to the capital?" Then comes an orderly. He hits the head of the old blind man and says, "You fool, where is the way to the capital?" The king's party had lost its way. When they had all gone, the blind man started laughing. Somebody else was sitting by the side and he asked, "Why are you laughing?" The blind man said, "Look, the first man must have been a king. The second man must have been the prime minister. And the third man must be a poor constable." The man was puzzled. He said, "How could you know? You are blind." The blind man said, "Just by their behavior." The king was so certain of his superiority that he could touch my feet. The orderly was feeling so inferior that he had to hit me. He must be in a poor situation. And this is the deepest message for Leo natives. Only a king can touch the feet of a poor man. Because a real king is certain of himself. A real king knows his value. A real king does not need to prove his greatness by insulting the weak. A real king does not need to bully ordinary people. A real king do not need to crush those who are below him. Only a person who is insecure within tries to prove power by dominating others. And this is where Leo must understand the true meaning of leadership. Leo is ruled by the sun. Leo carries royalty, authority, dignity, performance, visibility, and power. But power is not given so that you can bulldoze others. Power is given so that you can protect others. Authority is not given so that you can humiliate the weak. Authority is given so that you can uplift the weak. Leadership is not given so that people should fear you. Leadership is given so that people should feel safe in your presence. A real Leo does not become powerful by crushing others. A real Leo becomes powerful by giving strength to others. A real Leo does not become royal by demanding respect. A real Leo becomes royal by giving respect even to those who cannot give anything in return. A real Leo does not become a king by sitting on the throne. A real Leo becomes a king by understanding why the throne was given. The purpose of power is service. The purpose of authority is protection. The purpose of leadership is responsibility. The purpose of royalty is generosity. And the purpose of the sun is not to burn the world, but to give light to the world. This is the highest lesson for Leo natives. Do not use your fire to dominate others. Use your fire to illuminate others. Do not use your voice to frighten. Use your voice to inspire. Do not use your position to control. Use your position to serve. Do not use your success to look down upon others. Use your success to raise others. Because true royalty is humble. True royalty is graceful. True royalty is generous. True royalty knows how to bow. And the one who cannot bow is not yet certain of himself. So Leo, remember this story whenever your ego feels hurt. Remember this story whenever you feel like proving your superiority. Remember this story whenever someone weaker than you comes before you. Remember this story whenever someone weaker than you comes before you. Remember this story whenever you are in a position of authority. Ask yourself, I am behaving like the king, the prime minister, or the constable. Because the king touched the feet of the blind man. The constable hit him. And this is the difference between true power and borrowed power. A person who has real power becomes humble. A person who has borrowed power becomes arrogant. A person who has inner dignity gives dignity to others. A person who feels inferior tries to make others feel small. My dear Leo natives, you are born with the light of the sun. Do not reduce the light into ego. Let it become warmth. Let it become compassion. Let it become protection. Let it become leadership. Let it become love. You are not here merely to be praised. You are here to become a blessing. You are not here merely to perform. You are here to express the divine through your heart. You are not here merely to rule. You are here to serve your kingdom. And your kingdom includes the weak, the poor, the ignored, the silent, the wounded, and the people who cannot repay you. That is where your real greatness will be tested. Love to all Leo men and women. Stay royal but stay humble. Stay powerful but stay kind. Stay ambitious but stay heartful. Stay radiant but stay compassionate. And always remember, only a king can touch the feet of a poor man. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru.
ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः।